Mr. Charlie Batch, my favorite part of the show, the Trench Report, is
Let's
on the
do it.
way. The O line, I thought, played well as a unit, not as well as last week, but still some things that they're doing well together. Particularly pass blocking is a good sign, especially with a 42-year-old quarterback back there tossing the ball around. Pass protection is a premium, but still some work to do in the run game. So these are the grades that I have, and I'll break it down to you from left to right. Broderick Jones, another good, solid performance. And when I do these
Before
grades, go
Trey,
ahead.
before you go there,
Go ahead.
explain to people how you give the grades.
Okay, my bad. Let me go ahead and go break down the grades. So I watch film and I give a plus for every time you get the job done. It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get a pancake. If you get the job done, you get a plus. If you don't get the job done, that means if you get beat on your block or if there's some kind of mental assignment that you mess up on, you get a minus. You get a double plus. If there's a big play or a touchdown and your block was a good one, you get a double minus. If your block is missed and it results in a negative play, a sack, a penalty, or a missed assignment. So there you have it. I'm pretty fair when it comes to this. I think being a former O lineman, I understand that it looks different to some folks. Big guys don't block the same as small guys, just like anything. And so I'm a little generous and I understand. Like, for instance, Zach Frazier had to go against a guy by the name of Vita Villa, who is probably about 100 pounds heavier than him and as strong as a Greek god. And so I cut him a little bit of slack when he had a stalemate, even though he might have got pushed back 5 yards. If Vita didn't make the play or had a profound effect on the play, I gave Zach a plus. So that's my grading in a nutshell. Broderick Jones, I thought, did a really good job with the pass blocking. I would like to see him punch more. And when I say that, if you go back and watch this film, there is a guy, and Andres Pete, who we just signed last week. He punches, and it looks different on film because he punches. He's aggressive, and he got after the ball. He got after the blockers. He was running downfield. He was trying to pick off guys off the pile, just like any nasty offensive lineman do. And it was good to see, considering that he's a veteran who came in late last week, didn't have the best start, but came in right away and played it at left guard, a position that he has not played in NFL. So Andres Pete was the hog of the day, graded out at 97. But the first team O-line didn't get a whole lot of action. They played about 10, 11 plays. They only had 3 running plays. And on those 3 running plays, 2 of them were minuses on across the board. So we still have some things we got to work on as far as push up front and staying on blocks. There's some assignment issues. I think Zach needs to identify a little bit more clear because some guys weren't on the same page. But here goes the grades. Broderick Jones, 85%. Solid, but not great. Some things to improve on. He needs to work on his punch and knowing who he needs to block in the run game. That was his biggest bugaboo last year, is mental assignments. So we need to improve upon that. Spencer Anderson did an okay job, had a penalty. And that's another thing that O-line did this week that they didn't do last week. We had 5 pre-snap penalties this week, which Coach Tomlin hates. And I know Coach Meyer is going to be in the film harping upon that. Zach did a good job, held his own against an all-pro defender in Vita Villa. Obviously, Mason McCormick had the best day of the front line. Troy had a false start as well. No. Troy did not have a false start. I'm sorry. He did not have any penalties, but he did have some errors in the run game. So the O-line played well. We're moving, trending in the right direction, but we need to shore up the run game. Pass protection is good. I'm glad that pass protection is where it's at. They seem to all be on the same page, but by and large, I thought they did a good job, and they need to get more on the same page in the run game in order to get as much success as we can out of it.
Now, I agree with you on that. As I was watching the film, obviously your assessment is a lot better than mine as you're going on your pluses and minuses. But I agree with you. I'm pretty sure as far as your grades on that one. So I love it.
So some things in Max Sharping, who has some experience in this league. He's a starter. He's our backup. But we had a guy in Ryan McCullum who's been hurt this camp, who did a great job. And so when it comes to deciding who are going to be our final 8 or 9 offensive linemen, they got some decisions to make. As you can see the grades right here, Dylan Cook has done a good job at left tackle the entire camp. Stephen Jones has showed some position flexibility, but I thought he had some mental lapses. He had 2 pre-snap penalties yesterday. He played right guard and right tackle. Nestor played right guard and left guard. I thought he did a solid job. But when we're looking at this, we got the top five. I think we're sold on who's going to be the starters. I think Andres Pete came in and just solidified his job on the 53-man roster with his performance. Like I said, if you go back and watch, it just looks different. The way he gets after it, he looks like he's been there before and he's done it at the high level. It was really refreshing to see on film. So I think he's a shoo-in. You got to look at Max Sharping as our only backup center and the only one that has taken snaps at center outside of Zach Frazier in the games. He's a shoo-in at 53, I think. And then it's going to come down to position flexibility. Dylan Cook has shown that he could be a swing tackle. Stephen Jones has shown he could play 4 positions. So we got some decisions to make. But I think if we're going down the pecking order, I think we got them listed right there. We got the starting 5, and those top 4, Max Sharping, Andres Pete, Dylan Cook, and Stephen Jones. If we keep 9, we'll be the 9.
Do you think, even I know obviously we have a game to play this week, but looking at this and look at based off the last couple of weeks, do you think the 9 offensive linemen are on this roster, or do you think a roster move would be made?
I think they made it in Andres Pete, and I think they're going to ride with the guys that are in the locker room. I heard an interview the other day from either McCormick or no, it was from Troy, who said that the assistant O-line coach said, we got. This is who we're going to ride with going into the season. So that holds water, that the assistant O-line coach said that too, and Troy felt comfortable enough to say it to the media. So I think that's going to be the case.